Good afternoon. Welcome to the first ever agronomy update from the field. I'm Jason Gark with D&J Seeds. I'm going to be sending these short video clips out weekly or every couple weeks depending on what's happening in the field. They'll contain different agronomic information and product highlights. The Pioneer team does a great job of providing us good information for southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. What I want to do with these videos is really shrink that down and highlight things that I'm seeing in eastern Faribault County, western Freeborn County, and northern Winnebago County in Iowa. The first disease I want to highlight is Physoderma brown spot and stalk rot. A couple things first off about the disease is it survives in the soil up to 5 to 7 years in crop residue and organic matter. How it infects the plant is actually in early June, mid-June, when we have excessive rainfall. The fungus actually moves in water or free water. So when you have excessive rainfall, it splashes down onto the soil and up onto the plant. That disease gets onto the leaf tissue and runs down the midrib into the nodes and starts to infect the plant. There's two kind of forms of the disease. The first one is the brown spot form. It's really not detrimental to yield in any way, but it is an indicator of disease in the field. As you can see, this leaf right here is showing pretty classic symptomology of the brown spot Physoderma. It has kind of these yellowish brown oval shapes here on the leaf tissue that kind of run in bands, and then the midrib, as you can see, has these purplish circles that almost turn the whole midrib purple on some of the plants. This one's a little more infected. This leaf, a little less, as you can see there. The second form, which can be detrimental to yield, is the stalk rot form. If you remember, as I said, the disease splashes up on the plant and moves down the midrib at V5 to V9. So it affects these nodes down towards the bottom of the plant. Most of the time, or almost all the time, plants infected with the stalk rot will not show the leaf disease, and vice versa. I actually grabbed a plant. I'm starting to see this, which is a little early, which is kind of a bit concerning to me. That's why I started with this disease. So if you can picture that disease travel down the midrib and infect this node right here, and if you can see, there's some slight discoloration in this node right here along those edges. As this disease advances, this entire circumference of the stalk here will turn black, and it'll start to have a brown spot about the size of a quarter on right over the top of that node. I picked out this plant here. You can't really see it, but the back side of this node has some discoloration started, and you'll see when this disease infects in there, what happens is it causes the plant to become very brittle, so it almost like a brittle snap. So if I'll just push on that plant and you hear that snapping sound, and you can see right there that discoloration starting. I didn't push real hard. I had to give it a little force, but it will snap over. Now, the infection of this disease, that's a little scary, but it really, the worst I've seen it in 2017 was maybe 3 to 5% of plants, and the disease will get in there and it'll cause that weakness in there. But usually once the plant kind of matures and hardens off, that'll get firm enough where it'll make it through harvest. But a way you just scout it is like here. I'm out in a plot. This happens to be a competitor number, and I was walking across the plot crossways and kind of bending the tops over to walk through, and snapped right off of my hand. So it can make harvest conditions a little difficult, and you know, if you have a severe wind when that plant is brittle, it can cause some issues. But for the most part, it doesn't affect yield if the plant is harvestable. Now I will say, last year in 2017, when we found this disease early, it was a very good indicator of what was to come, which was other diseases causing premature death, a lot of Fusarium and anthracnose. So what I'm using this for right now is kind of doing some scouting of some different hybrids, trying to find it out in the field, and then marking those fields and coming back to them every 2 weeks, and then once we get in December, once a week, to see if we start to pick up other diseases that are going to cause harvest issues. The leaf disease is controllable with fungicide, but the timing is pretty tricky to get correct. There's not a lot of great data on that. Your best defense against this disease is just to watch your hybrid susceptibility. If you have a hybrid that's more susceptible, you probably want to make sure you rotate away from corn on corn. But you know, like I said, for the most part, this disease is an indicator, in my mind, of potential disease to come into the fall. But you know, we'll see what the next month brings. So, like I said, I want to put these videos out. This is the first one, every week or two, just to get you guys good information that's quick and easy to see. This one's probably a little longer because I had to kind of do the introduction. The mosquitoes are eating me alive, but it's just so that I can get you information quick and you can see what I see out in the field. So thank you.